But now on the DLA podcast, this has nothing to do with no scrubbers in Coronation Street or nothing. This is all to do with the lovely, well-reared boys at the DLA, and we're doing a podcast today.
My life is complete. That's it.
You've arrived.
I'm sure you've guessed. Our guest today is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Julian Simmons. This is the DLA podcast, hosted by me, Stephen Large, and brought to you by Ream Print Solutions. Julian, thank you.
Nice to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
Nice setup you've got here now.
It
Very
is.
good.
Now we're doing a bit of decorating at the minute, as you can see.
Well, it's great. It's good. It's working well.
Julian, you may or may not recall this, probably not, but you actually narrated my first ever play.
Did I?
You did.
And where was this?
It was a small production. It was in the Strand Cinema.
Right.
So it was a DLA spoof of a Christmas.
It wasn't a pantomime or anything.
You could sort of put it in that bracket. It was called Carol's Christmas. So it was a DLA version of Christmas Carol.
How many years ago would this have been?
Exactly 10.
Oh, good gracious.
Yes, and we had an idea that we would reach out to you to narrate in between the scenes. It would be pre-recorded.
Oh, right.
And then it would go out on the night, and thankfully you agreed to do it. Do you have any recollection of that whatsoever?
I think I do, actually, but I'm just trying to place it. Did I pre-record it and then did I come along to the actual show?
You did, because you came in and you sat just in the row in front. Didn't even turn around and say, "Hello, Stephen, you ignorant swine." You hadn't a fucking clue who it was, to be honest. But yeah, so it was called Carol's Christmas. It was in the Strand Arts Centre, and it was more dickhead than Dickens, shall we say?
Well.
And you were narrating in between scenes, and you know, it would have been the usual continuity sort of.
Good fun though.
Yeah. But yeah, it was 10 years ago now. We'll have to get you back to do another one if you're up for it.
If you're writing another one, I'm always up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. So long before you were helping clueless playwrights, you were also.
You're not clueless now by any means.
I know, I was waiting on the praise there. Anyway, you were a continuity announcer on UTV. Now, the only two times I've heard the word continuity is whenever it refers to you and the IRA. Thankfully, you're the more pleasant version of the
mixture of it all. Yes.
But only in Northern Ireland could you see a news bulletin about bombs and bullets and kneecappings, and then within nanoseconds we're into a different universe where you're narrating the intro to Coronation Street sounding like a Ballymacarra defender's wife. Could I just ask, where did that come from? Did you go in one day thinking,
When I started at UTV in continuity, I had to do everything. I had to intro the programmes, back announce the ending of the programmes, do the sports results, and also read the news.
Right, okay.
Which towards the end went up to 3 times a night, especially at the weekends. And as you know, the news was no particular fun.
No.
In fact, one night I was reading the news, the late news on air, and in the middle of it all, there was a shattering crash and a massive bomb went off in Ormo Avenue. And all the dust was coming down out of the lights like it was snowing. Now, to give me a due, it didn't miss a beat. But at the end of it, I thought, good Lord, what the hell was that? And it was quite a big bomb. But, I mean, when I started in UTV, I had to do everything. And then, after a certain time, they said, we want you to do the entertainment side of things on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And so we'll get somebody else to come in and read the news.
Okay.
And then we'll get somebody to come in and read the sports results where I hadn't a baldy clue what I was talking about. A Huckle Young Farmers Ard, 4-11, Ardbo 3-2. That's a draw. I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah.
But it was all part of the job, And then in the end, all that was taken away from me, and I just did the links in and out of the programmes.
But the first time that you decided to introduce Coronation Street like that, where did that come from?
I was on air one Christmas for 4 nights, and there was no news whatsoever at that time.
Okay. Yeah.
We were doing news programs, but nothing to do with me. And so I just thought, I'm going to do this now the way I want to do it. And, just act the lig as much as possible. At Christmas time, entertainment shows. I remember Ghostbusters was one of the movies I introduced and all that. So I just acted the lead before everything, and it sort of took off. And then shortly after Christmas, I met the boss on the stairs.
I was just about to ask
coming
this.
down from the canteen with a dinner. And he said to me, I saw you over Christmas and I thought you did a good job. Try and keep that going as much as possible. So in the end, we negotiated that somebody else would do the news. It didn't always work. Sometimes I was in there doing my stuff and the person who was coming in to read the news didn't turn up. So I still had to put a face like a Poe and read the awful news that there was.
Yeah.
But then over the years, that all faded out, you know.
Was there any backlash to it at all, or was there sort of, because it's completely left field?
There was every now and again disgusted if Barry Holmes was on the phone. Tell that boy to get off. I don't like listening to the likes of that. But quite honestly, most of it was very complimentary.
Yeah.
Because you were giving people a bit of a laugh.
Well, I think this is
and
it,
we needed a damn good laugh at that time.
Yeah. As was said, you sort of have the horrible news at the time. And it was a bit of...
some of it was dreadful.
A bit of light relief. Didn't do anyone any harm. What was your... what would you say would have been your favourite or most notorious Coronation Street announcement? I have one in my head that always sort of sticks out.
There were so many, to tell you the truth. There were so many incidents in Coronation Street, but over the years... the series itself began to turn a bit more... I mean, there used to be whole hoo-has going on about Annie Walker getting new carpet and what Elsie Tanner didn't say to so-and-so.
Yeah.
But then it all developed into, like, bodies beneath the patio and everything, you know? Yeah. Which then, it just got a wee bit... I thought it got a bit ridiculous. And to tell you the truth, since I've left UTV, I've never seen it now. I never watch it.
No, it's... I think...
It's gone off the deep end.
I think the soaps and well, I'm sure it still has its devoted following.
Oh, it does, of course.
The same as EastEnders, but I just think that the advent of streaming services and stuff.
Oh God, big time.
I don't, if it wasn't for live sport, I don't think I would ever have terrestrial TV on.
No,
it's just such nonsense on it, to be honest with you. UTV just seems the only programmes that get commissioned for UTV.
They have to rack their brains to think more and more different twisted plots, you know?
Yeah.
And it does they're really scraping the barrel sometimes.
Well, the one that sticks out in my mind is the one that you did about Gail Platt. Can you tell us?
E.T. in the Anthea Turner wig.
Can you tell us a wee bit more about that?
Well, I'll give her a due. She had very, very lustrous hair.
Yes.
And then one day I met her in the Europa.
Oh, right, okay.
And
what was the circumstances of that?
Well, she was coming out of the restaurant and I was coming up the stairs, and she was obviously in Belfast doing some gig.
Yeah.
And I saw her, and then I saw her in real life. And that's where E.T. and the Anthea Turner wig sort of came into my mind. And a few people had said things about it, so I used it on the television. I used to hear people talking about Coronation Street on the train, and it was as if Coronation Street was real life.
Yeah.
You know, Liz McDonald shouldn't wear them frocks. Someone should tell her not to walk about in clothes like that. She looks like a whore. And all that. So you have to sort of fine that down a little bit.
No, you're completely right. I remember in one of the previous jobs I had, I was working in an office, and these two women were like talking about this guy cheating, but they didn't name names.
No.
And I'm being a nosy fucker, just sitting staring at my tea, trying to get the biz, and then it turns out it was a storyline, and I, for fuck's sake, out of Coronation Street. Right, a quick word from our sponsor, Ream Print Solutions. They're based in Dundonald, they've been at it since 2005, and they do everything. Business cards, flyers, banners, basically, if it doesn't move, they can print on it. And the big thing, they're quick. Next day turnaround, unlike hangovers in your 40s. They'll even help with design, so if your idea is currently as unhelpful as I want it to look class, they'll sort you out. They're also big into sustainability, eco-winks, responsibly sourced paper, solar panels, so you can feel good about printing 500 flyers that you'll probably hand out to about 12 people. So if you need print done properly, get yourself to Ream Print Solutions. Check out theream.co.uk. Long before that then, you were actually cabin crew, is that correct?
No, I was passenger service for Air Canada.
Right, okay.
I started off in the Air Canada office in North Street in Belfast. And after 5 years, they closed the office because the Canadian Embassy was in that building too,
Okay, yeah.
and it moved. Air Canada closed the office, and I was offered Heathrow. So I didn't know what to do. And so I'll try it. And so I tried a few months in Heathrow and got swept up into it and finished up doing both jobs at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, working at Terminal 3, dealing with all aspects of the human condition, flying home, doing television, flinging my uniform into the corner, straight on air to do a night's TV, and sometimes flying back the next day. You know, it used to be wild sometimes, but I loved it all and I did it.
Was it solely Canada, or what was the...
Air Canada was the airline.
Yeah.
And that was the airline of Canada, but we also handled Cathay Pacific. In our time, we handled Qantas, and then we had Thai International and Royal Jordanian Airlines. So we were handling people from all over the world, and it was all great crack, boarding, meeting and greeting and checking in. And the days used to go whoosh, like that.
I'm sure. Although... you would have dealt with a lot of passengers, I'm sure,
Over
and
the years,
some nightmare scenarios.
Oh,
What was
you
the
could say that again.
What was the worst passenger that you had to deal with, or the worst situation that you had to deal with while in air?
Well, one of the most horrendous was I was on the standby desk, and it was in the run up to Christmas. And we were getting families, crew, and also passengers on staff tickets trying to get back to Canada. And the Toronto was full and oversold. The Montreal was oversold. So passengers going to those destinations hadn't a baldy clue. So they were coming to the desk and I was saying, look, it's not looking very good. What I will do is I'll tag your bags, you hold on to them, and I'll ask you to come back here an hour before the flight goes. So I had to do that for everything. And these people were coming up. And I remember there was a captain's wife came up to me and said, I want to stand by for Toronto. And I said, have you registered, madam? No. I said, well, look, there's absolutely no chance. I'll certainly put you on the list, but you will be bottom of the list and all this. So cutting a long story short, all these people were champing at the bit for the 1:15 to Toronto, and at 12:30 they were coming back to the desk saying, well, and I was about to say to people, look, it's absolutely no chance, and the phone went. And I had been down to TWA and asked if they got any seats to New York, and they'd got about 20 seats. Meanwhile, Pan Am's 103 had got over 100. And I said, I'll put them on Pan Am. So I was saying to them, if I don't get you on our Toronto or Montreal, you can go on the Pan Am 103 to New York. So I was about to start moving them round to Pan Am when the phone went. And it was the transfer desk upstairs to say Air India coming in from Delhi had diverted into Frankfurt with a heart attack on board, and on board that were 50 connections to Toronto and Montreal. So all of a sudden, the flight that was full opened up, and on Toronto I got 30 seats, and on the Montreal I got 20. And I was able to check in all my passengers, and away they went. On Air Canada 857 to Toronto and 865 to Montreal. And I got on the flight to come home to Belfast, and I landed, and the news flash came on the TV with Trevor McDonald to say there'd been a massive explosion over Lockerbie.
Yeah.
And they thought there'd been an accident with an aircraft. Well, I thought it was an army aircraft or something. And then as it all developed, it was Pan Am 103 that blew up, and there was a bomb on it. And I nearly put all those people on it. So that was a horrendous day.
Yeah, actually, it was just whenever you were telling the story there, and you were talking about Pan Am. I don't know whether you've seen it, but there's a new, I think it's a 6 or 8 part series on Netflix. One of the guys out of
is it about Pan Am 103?
Yeah,
Right.
It's very, very good, very, very good. Obviously, there are a few families who still dispute.
Of course there are. Yes, rightly so.
Explanation for it all. So they've tried to stay as close to the source material as possible. Obviously, there's certain people aren't going to like the narrative, but overall as a drama, binge watched it in one sitting. It was absolutely fantastic. So if you get a if you get a
try and
chance,
see
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, there were days that were a great laugh and an awful rows with people who were... North Americans can lose the bap dead easily. 1 minute they're all sweetness and light, and the next they're kicking the desk. But generally, they're all very nice and very hospitable people when you're there.
Did you ever try and explain that phrase to them? Lose the bath.
Lose the bap. I had to explain a lot because sometimes I was talking away and they were looking at me as if I'd horns. But that's the way it is, you know.
And was it directly from then into broadcasting? You sort of said there you were juggling the two.
I was in broadcasting before I went to Heathrow.
Yeah.
I was doing broadcasting first of all when I was in Hamilton Travel. And then I got the job at Air Canada in Canada House and was still doing broadcasting in the evening. My job during the day and broadcasting in the evening. Then they closed the Belfast office and I thought, what am I going to do now? And so I was commuting 2 or 3 times a week. And sometimes I was back and forwards like nobody's business. But then that was all good because I got very friendly with the Belfast-based British Airways crew. I went to all their parties and they came to London and we all went out and they were all great crack. And then British Airways closed the Belfast base and all the staff went to long haul. So what I used to do is on my travel passes, I used to go with them on their trips. They were working and I was what is known as a Klingon. And, I would do stuff like 9-day Bangkok Sydneys, 5-day, a lot of Hong Kongs I did, 5-day Hong Kongs, and quite a lot the phone would go, we're going to New York. Do you want to come? Night stop. All right. So I'd get the early morning shuttle from Belfast, fly out on a midday flight to New York, arrive at 9 o'clock my time, but it was only like 5 o'clock in the evening, all out shopping all around New York, back to the hotel, bed, up again in the morning, more shopping. Then the crew bus came at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we back to the airport and got on the flight home and back in work the next day. Wrecked. But I had a great time. Yeah.
Did you ever have an affiliation with a travel agent on the Newton Arch Road at one point? Because I saw you I saw you frequenting there a few times. Yes,
I did. For a while, I went to Knock Travel. I missed the travel industry.
Yeah.
And I was still going a humdinger at TV, but I thought I missed the travel industry. So I went into Knock Travel, it was then.
Yes, yeah.
And it's now Oasis. But it was great fun being part of the travel industry again, but I could only do it 3 days a week. Otherwise, I'd been in Foster Greens, desperate, but I loved it.
So moving on from your regular jobs, you've become a bit of a cult figure. Fair to say, you would say.
Well, people say that.
And I'm going to show you a few images here, Julian. Okay. The first one is the infamous or famous, whatever way you want to look at it, Northern Ireland flag that was unfurled at the 2016 Euros.
Big Julian Bucked Yer.
Big Julian Bucked Yer.
Yes.
Now, is there any truth in this?
No, I didn't buck any dads, and indeed they didn't buck me, unfortunately. But a lot of them didn't have Big Jules Bucked Yer. I knew I was on a lot of flags, and some of them weren't as explicit as that.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, it didn't worry me at all. And
I have to say, I did share it on DLA whenever I saw it first. I mean, this is like 10 years ago, so this is like pre-AI and all this here. So I knew it was legit.
Oh, it was legit, very legit. But not. I didn't.
Did you make it over?
I wasn't bucking it. No, I went nowhere near it. But I knew it was on the flags, and there were some flags in Europe without Bucked Yer on Big Julian. They were waving the flag. But I mean, it was quite flattering,
Yeah. So no truth in it, unfortunately. That's a shame.
No, didn't buck any dads.
Now, there was another one that I did. I don't know whether you remember this or not, but a few years back, Gwyneth Paltrow, she brought out a candle that smells like
vaginas.
Yes. So I know. I honestly, anyway, I wrote a DLA article which was you had released a candle which smelt like your knob. So here, here's the
No, I never knew that. That's
yeah. Is it something that you would consider in the future, do you think?
knob cheese. I don't think the BBC would like it really, and I don't think UTB would have liked that, but it's hilarious.
Could I would have to ask for the prototype if you ever do decide.
Of course
yes,
I will. Yes.
I want one brought on, and we'll keep it here in the DLA podcast.
I mean, I would like to think that in this day and age of high power showers and all, I don't have any knob cheese. But anyway, if I ever do, of course, I'll ring you immediately.
Thank you. As soon as
Get
that
a load of that
as
there.
soon as that knob cheese appears, get on the phone.
Oh, of course I will.
So this one then, Julian, which you actually, which you saw and shared on social media, was a mural that I did on a gable wall. Which was his only crime was Corrie, and it was a Julian Simmons mural.
Yes, I've seen
But people
that.
actually thought that this was
Yes,
real, and were cracking up.
People thought it was up in Derry and everything.
Yes, and they thought it was. Did they paint over an actual mural to put this up?
Honest to God, I know. But you see, people have to take offence very easily.
yeah.
I mean, I only saw about it a couple of weeks after it went up.
Yeah.
And people were saying to me, "I believe you're on a mural. You're on a mural, Julian." But I mean, at the same time, it was very good. Very good picture.
Yes, there's a few things that people have mistaken over the years. For being the actual truth. Paul Clark being one of them. So I wrote an article about Paul. No, sorry, you're just about to say something very nasty there, so I'm going to let you finish.
No. I was just thinking Paul Clark worked in UTB, as
yes,
you know.
He did.
And he was a colleague for many years.
Yeah, yes. Well, I wrote Paul Clark dies 62, but spelt it DYES.
Right. As in dying
he
hair.
died his hair, right. Now, you would be absolutely fucking astounded how many people misread that to the point. This is legit. I have the tweet where his brother, news filtered back to his brother who lives in Wisconsin apparently, who contacted to make sure. So Paul took it in good humour.
Oh, that's great.
And he retweeted it. But yeah, that's
I'm sure he found that great crack.
He did. There was one with Pamela Ballantyne. I can't remember what that one was, to be fair. But she took it. Everyone takes it in the only person that hasn't taken it in good humour, and I'm just being paranoid or getting ahead of myself here, but I wrote one about Stephen Nolan there the other week, saying that he broke his arm falling off his high horse. And then I bumped into him in the gym.
And what did he say?
He just looked at me as if he wanted me to die on the spot. But it might just be that he was punctured after his workout and he was in bad form and he hasn't a clue who I am, which is most likely the case. But if looks could kill.
Stephen Nolan's got a great sense of humour. And, I mean, you know, he would find a lot of stuff like that funny. And Pamela Ballantyne's got a great sense of humour too. Yeah,
I actually thought he gets a lot of stick, let's be honest. But I actually thought he came across well on the Peelers thing. What's your thing?
Fabulous, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and fuck you and your ma.
Do you know what? That's obviously the catchphrase, and that's the big line. But the one that just goes under the radar for me is: do you remember the bit where the girl is being she's being manhandled on the ground, and she tells the painter to fuck away off around their own door? I think that one just goes so under the radar.
But that is so Northern Ireland, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know,
some of this.
There's no two ways about it. I mean, I wouldn't live anywhere in the world but Northern Ireland, because our sense of humour, our lifestyle, and our whole attitude. I mean, when Secretaries of State come over, they don't understand the way we roll here. The only one that did was Mo Molan.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
she was great crack.
Yeah.
And I used to see her. She used to come into UTV a lot, and I used to do a regular walk up through Stormont, up one hill and down the other and home. And one day I was puffing up the hill, purple, and the sweat lashing off me. And this limo pulls up and says, "Taking our constitutional, are we?" And there was Mo Molam in the car, and I thought, the sight of me, like the sweat lashing. But she was very good and good fun. But all the rest didn't really.
No, they
weren't on our.
Hadn't a clue. There was
going right back to Willie Whitewash. You're probably too young to remember him.
Yeah.
There used to be some Willie Whitelaw, who the fuck are you? To come to Ulster to tell us what we're supposed to do. And he did try to tell us.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
No, it never pans out well at all. And since we've taken a turn into a more serious territory from knob cheese and what have you, we're talking about Secretary of States. Just touching on something a wee bit more serious then. So you were openly gay. Even in the UTV days, in an era, not just a different time, but a different time in Northern Ireland.
It was a different time because there were times when, I was charging around Belfast all the time, going to events and meeting people for lunch, and quite a few people used to object to me and spit at me and everything.
You're joking me.
There was one day I was standing at the traffic lights at Donegal Place, crossing by the City Hall, and one of these red courier vans was coming along, and there's a whole clatter of people standing, and I'm there, and this van came along, and the window went down, and a fella yells out, "You great big fruit off the TV," and spat at me. But the spit was carried on the wind and landed on a woman 2 or 3 people down from me on her fur coat. So I grabbed a tissue and I went over and said, "Darling, don't worry about that. That was aimed at me, not you." And she was all flummoxed by it. But,
You should have whipped the flag out and went, "I bucked your da." What do you think about that?
I didn't have it handy, you see. Otherwise, I would have done. But, all that's gone now. It's nearly... young people of a certain... of the generation now, it doesn't matter about their sexuality. No. And I wasn't flaunting it round the town, but that's the way it is. That's the way it was.
Was it a generally negative experience, though? Was it difficult?
A lot of people were very friendly and very nice, and every now and again, the hard man type would like to let me know that he was a big man and he had nothing to do with the homosexuals, and he liked to let you know that. But quite a lot of time, I don't know whether to say this, but I used to find that people were quite down on gay people. If I was, sometimes they would try it on with me, I hadn't time to be getting involved with people because I was trying to keep 2 jobs going and flying about all over the place and being really busy. Yeah. So I had very few affairs in those days.
Yeah, and what would the clubbing have been like back then? Was there only certain places that you felt comfortable in going out?
Well, there was the Kremlin and all that, and there were 1 or 2 places there that were very mixed.
Yeah.
I hadn't time to be going out. A lot of time I went out as much as I could. But there were some times I would go with Tracy Hall from the Style Academy, and she and some of her models, guys and girls, would pick me up in the car at UTV at midnight when I came off shift, and we'd all go round to Rain, or Milk as it was known. And you'd get there and they'd be queued round the block to get in. Yeah. And they were all yelling as I got out, "Oh, Julian, bring us in, will you bring us in?" I said, "Nothing to do with me, I'm her," And you'd go in, and then you'd get a very mixed bag of people in there.
Yeah. I was in Milk a few... It's closed now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I believe it's starting to reopen again. Right, they're trying to... there was great atmosphere in there.
Yeah, I went to... I'm showing my own age, but it was like 2002, went to see... when it was rebranded as Milk, I think, and went to see Eric Murillo in there. It was a brilliant night. But
there were some good nights in there. And, I used to be like... doing my 2 jobs and then going into Rain after a night in UTV, like you were pushing the boat out.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you pretty...
had great energy, and thank God, touch wood, I still have.
I was going to say, it can take a tremendous toll on your... Yes. On your health when you are burning the candle.
I do believe in siestas in the afternoon. Like, there's going to be one after this, I can tell you.
You'll need it.
And I mean, there'll be one tomorrow after I've done everything in Belfast. I've the BBC tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Out of there at 12:30. I've got a press thing to do in the afternoon, and then I'll be home and into bed again.
You see, some people might have got the impression that because you disappear from the screen, you know, that somehow you're put out the pasture. But from what you're saying, it actually sounds like it's gone the opposite direction. And
it has really. I'm a lot busier now.
Yeah.
Because people want me to host things and be at things and present things. And now I'm doing the BBC, of course, and all that. See, it all grist to my mill, tell you the truth, you know. And, I mean, UTV's demise, it is sad that it's gone, but it will never come back, you know. The UTV that we knew and loved that I worked in Havelock House has gone. Havelock House is demolished. And ITV took UTV over, and we all moved to Clarendon Dock.
Yeah.
And we had about a fifth of the space that we normally had.
Yeah.
And then after the lockdown started, I was paid all through the lockdown 9 months on full salary. And then I got a call from Human Resources that wanted to see me. Well, I knew what it was about.
Yeah.
And so it was, but I mean, I was very well looked after. And I mean, and the way it is that ITV took UTV over, and now Sky is taking ITV over.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen to the ITV brand or UTV brand.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time you see UTV now when it's UTV Live News.
Yeah, that's it. That's
or Pamela in the evening.
Yeah, the
UTV Live.
She has her program. What's that?
It's UTV Life.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
But I mean, all that is, it's all got a question mark over it now.
Yeah.
With Sky, what's Sky gonna do? No doubt it'll be a couple of years before it hits.
Yeah. You're acting now, I believe.
Yes, I've over the years I've done a couple of movies, but the latest one was a horror. It's a short, sharp movie. It's called The Widow's Ring, in which I play a jeweler, where the murderer arrives at the jeweler shop after hacking the finger off the woman he's killed to get the ring off her. And I am so thrilled to see such a fabulous ring. And that really is my part. I'm saying, you know, this is a marvellous ring, sir. You know, I don't think I asked him where he got it. But, I mean, that's all part of the mystery, you see.
Yeah.
Of The Widow's Ring.
And is it locally produced, or is
Yes, it is by a very well-known young writer called Nathan Hughes. You know, yes, exactly. And I mean, he's done quite a lot of work, but this is getting a final polish, and it's going forward to all the local festivals and some European ones as well.
It's a short then?
Yeah, short and sharp, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it would scare the bejesus out of you.
And how long have you been putting yourself out there for acting roles then?
Well, I've done a lot of acting here at the Hollywood Players. It was the Hollywood Players where people saw me in comedies and said, you should be on TV. And somebody wrote to the managing director of UTV. And it turned out his wife was the sister of a girl I used to play with when I was about 12. So it all weaves together.
Yeah.
You know?
And have you made a return to stage recently, or?
Yes, I've done the Widow's Ring, and it's in the final stages of production, and then it'll be offered to all the festivals.
Yeah, but sorry, what I meant was, have you actually been on stage though recently, as in return to theatre?
No, I haven't. I did the pantomime at the Opera House. That's not really acting, you know.
It's a tough...
No, it's not. You're not. You know, you're just acting the lig, really.
Julian's views do not reflect. Because I still want work at the Opera House. No, I get what you're saying. It's a tough nut to crack, that one, though. It seemed...
But that's only part of my repertoire,
Were you doing it with John Lanahan?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. That's the reason I left Air Canada. I was due to take leave of absence from Air Canada and do the pantomime at the Opera House. And 2 weeks before leave of absence started, the boss at Air Canada called me and said, look, I've got to tell you something here. British Airways are pulling out of Terminal 3, that was our terminal, and we are taking on all these other airlines. We're going to be handling them. So all leave of absence is cancelled. So unfortunately, I have to tell you that I have to stop your leave of absence. And I said, well, it's like this. I can't. So I'm going to have to leave. Because I'd signed the contract.
Yeah.
And I knew at some stage, I mean, I did about 13, 14 years at Heathrow. Loved every minute of it. But I knew the days were numbered. There'd be a time where I'd have to say, no, I can't do this anymore. And this was it. And so I did the pantomime at the Opera House, and that was it.
Very good. And another string to your bow is your DJing. Is this correct?
Yes, I've done a fair amount of that, and I've got a couple of gigs up ahead. I like to do Ibiza bangers, you know?
Yeah.
And the audiences seem to love that.
Yeah.
Good banging stuff.
Yes, I have a radio show on Energy 106.
Well,
so
then
it's
you
just,
know what Ibiza bangers do to
yes,
people.
well, I'm more house. So would you be more of a trance guy or what?
A mixture, really, trance and house, and as long as it's banging, and because I had a couple of nice holidays in Ibiza where you did all the clubs, £40 a bang, like, you know. But it was all good crack, and the music never stopped.
Yeah, and what sort of venues are you doing at the minute? Or would it be functions, or would it be hotels?
It can be functions and wedding dues and everything. And then I did Custom House Square Pride the year before last.
All right, okay.
And that was a good one to do because it was bones, you know. And then I did the Farmers Bash on the Boucher Road. And there was two venues. I was in the, what was called, there was a hay shed, a huge hay shed, and then the main stage. And after I'd done my Ibiza bangers, I was to move to the main stage and all these different people. And I mean, it was a big do. And when I went, I got there in the afternoon. My Ibiza bangers were to start, say, 4 o'clock. And I walked into this hay shed, nobody there. And I thought, oh, for goodness sake. So we started, and all of a sudden, the music pulled them in. And it filled up, and they went berserk for it. So that was good crack. And then I moved to the stage and introduced all the acts onto the stage.
Well, have you got a DJ name?
No, it's just Julian.
Well, see, I've come up with a few suggestions, okay?
All right.
And I'll read them out, and then you can tell me which one's your favourite. And if you like it enough, you could possibly use it for a small fee, obviously. So you're from East Belfast, isn't that correct?
Yes.
So I was thinking the Grandmaster Sage. Judge Julian. The Havelock House Mafia. Robert Miles.
Robert Miles.
Instead of Robert Miles, that's a shit.
Oh, I see, right.
Or Carl Show Us Your Cocks.
No, see, that might be a bit too extreme. For
I don't think you get many bookings.
Some people would love that, but for some people it would be a bit too extreme. After working at Heathrow and dealing with all aspects of the human condition, there is nothing that scandalises me, you know, or embarrasses me, because believe you me, I've seen it all.
What was the worst thing you saw at Heathrow?
The worst thing I really did with, which was quite traumatic, was escorting a passenger to a flight, and I put her in the lift to go up to departures, and then her contractions started. All the waters broke, and I'm in the lift with this woman who was in a burqa, you know,
Right.
And I couldn't leave, and I thank God I had a radio with me, and I did a request for paramedics. I had to block people getting into the lift when we got to departure. I said, look, I'm sorry, this lady on the floor is having a baby. I can't have anybody.
It must have been like a scene from The Shining when that lift door
it certainly was. And she held my hand all through. The baby came very quickly. And I believe you, I never saw her face, but I saw everything else, you know. And I mean, that was quite an eye opener.
Yeah.
But I mean, what surprised me is the waters broke, and I would say that within an hour and a half the baby was out, and me still holding her hand. I was on my knees.
Oh, so you stayed for the entire thing then, yeah?
I couldn't. She wouldn't let go of my hand.
You wanted to leave, but you couldn't. It wasn't through choice.
I wanted to run like hell down the road, but I couldn't. And I got a very nice letter from her family anyway, and I felt now I can deal with that now. If somebody wants to have another baby, they can hold my hand all they want.
Back to the DJing. Do you have a favourite tune to play then? Is there one that you think gets the floor filled at all times, or?
A lot of the Frankie Knuckles numbers are very good. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but there's one that I particularly like.
Frankie Knuckles and Todd Terry, sort of the old school house music.
And people do like that, you know.
Has anyone ever asked you to play the Coronation Street theme tune?
Well, actually, in my set, we have things where I can press a button and you can hear me doing an intro or talking about something, a program.
Oh, so you have previous. That's good. So you've previous
but
clips.
Now on the UTV it says, you know, or now coronations, all that sort of thing, and the audience, thank God, loves it.
Right. Okay. Well, Julian, have you anything else coming up that you would like to shamelessly plug?
Well, there's the Widow's Ring, of course, which is coming out, which is very good. I mean, I'm asked to be at things all over the provinces, all different things. Yeah.
Stupid podcasts and stuff like that.
And a couple of DJing sessions at weddings, which I suppose I can't really plug because they're private, I suppose. But, I mean, you know, that sort of thing. And hopefully they would generate other stuff.
I think you should just plug somebody's wedding just for the hell of it. Oh, and then somebody will get pissed off because they haven't been invited. What?
Well, that'll be the next thing.
Is there anything that... What's the weirdest thing that you've turned down?
There's been stuff in all arts and parts that I can't really get to, where it's somebody's birthday party or come and make a speech at this or whatever. There's a whole lot of that, but thankfully I've got a management team now who vets a lot of stuff for me, or I can say, see that there? No, you know.
Yeah. And
and also you can't hurt people. I don't want to hurt people.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm out of town.
Yeah.
Or I'm in London.
Yeah, so you're one of those people that doesn't like to say
no
to your own detriment, really.
No, I don't like to really treat people like that. If I can do something or amend it slightly, I can talk to them and say, could we not do this? And then if they agree to that, I'll do it. Yeah. And of course, they've got to pay the fee, of course.
That goes without saying, Julian.
That's what it's all about.
Well, Julian, I just want to thank you very much for coming on the podcast. You've been absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for asking me.
I hoped. Yes, you're more than welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Julian Simmons.
Thank you very much.